Biddly, 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 bar. Yes, yes, yeah. Here we go. We all know the deal by now. I have to check whether it's working or not. So if you can hear me, it'd be nice in the chat to actually not have to go through this, what I normally have to go through. Because it says I'm live. My phone says it's live. It goes to the advert. Yes, Ming, what's good? Are we live? Yes, I'm live. I believe I'm live. I believe I'm to be heard. Biddly, 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 bar. Excited for this one. It's hot and saucy, this one, isn't it? Got plenty to chat about, to be fair. Just, you know, shit is as shit does, the usual stuff. Are we going up? Nah, I'm only messing. Obviously, a bit of transfer talk, bit of January stuff. But, you know, we're not here for that quite yet. We've got some auditioning to do, haven't we? Yes, now, what's good, brother? Joe Depp, I've got some homemade mead that I had a few years ago. May give that a go. What's mead? See, we're already, this is what I love about it. I'm already Googling something else. And I'm defining mead on here. An alcoholic drink of fermented honey and water. How strong can mead get then? How strong's mead? How strong is mead? I would imagine if you've made it yourself, it can be all you want, can't it? But mead characteristics. Mead is an alcoholic beverage made from honey, water and yeast. It can also contain fruit, which is not a problem. Spices, grains or hops. Mead, it can be still, as far as I'm aware, it can be still. It can be carbonated or it can just naturally be sparkling, which I've always known. But one thing I like about mead is it can be dry, it can be semi-sweet or it can be sweet. That's one of my favourite things about mead. And it can also be served at chilled or at tomb temperature or room temperature, depends if you're in tomb. Mead is possibly the oldest alcoholic drink from what I know of it. The ancient Greeks called mead the nectar of the gods. It's a gift from the gods. Vikings, Mayans, I don't know what a Mayan is. I won't go down the rabbit hole of googling what a Mayan is. But the Egyptians also drunk mead, so you're in good company there, Joe. You're in good company if the Vikings drank mead. It can be up to 20%, it says here, but I would imagine you can make it any. Joe Depp's got his at 8, which is nice. Honey and lemon. Bit of mead, the mead tamer. Legendary MVG, you from the Middle Ages, Joe Depp. I feel it. Biddly, 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 bo. Yes, yes, yeah. Here we go. We need to get him introduced, don't we? Nobody do it how he does it. We've got to move back to get his greatness in. You know what time it is. Get that badger in and on and over here. He's in, he's on, he's over. So we're already, everybody's loving the mead talk, Joe. So thank you. If you're not dropping bombs with there's a reason it died out. If you're not dropping bombs with the Peru talk, you're dropping bombs with the old school drinks. Mead. I'm gonna have a look. What's mead look like? To be fair, I could just put mead and then go on images, but again, because, like I've said before, because I'm on here, I'm incapable of using. Oh, it looks like piss. Brilliant. Whew. Mind you, I suppose probably so does this, to be fair, doesn't it? And I'll probably get some more abuse at Budweiser. And also, it opened first time, baby. Because these twist caps are an absolute shit show, you know. Bammy Cham, baby sham for Bam Bam. Yeah, be having some baby sham, won't you, over Christmas period. Yeah, these twist caps are a joke, man. They ripped my hand open. Like, you're not going to be able to see this because my camera's a bit shit. But that's from one twist, and that was only to hold it. You know, because if I'm not feeling, you know, if I'm feeling a little bit frail or not feeling my usual, you know, strong man self, getting your grip round that when the bottle's particularly cold it's a frightening thought. It puts me off drinking them. I mean, you can obviously pop the bottle, but I don't buy these twist caps to pop the bottle. Yeah, they're selling it here, Ming, Joe, to be fair. So House of Trembling Madness in York. They're selling it. You can buy it all over shop here. I mean, granted, to be fair, I'm saying all... Yeah, Morrison's. Harvest Gold Mead. I cannot imagine it though. I don't like sweet stuff. Don't like sweet drinks really, but 70 centilitres though. That's a bit whack, innit? Oh no, that's quite big, innit? 70 centilitres. Yeah, what am I on about? It's got 3 out of 5 stars though. This one from Murray Bob's. So I don't know what you think of that. This delicious tasting notes. This delicious English tipple blends the finest ingredients to provide a delicately sweet, mouth-watering flavour and rich golden honey colour. Bwah, get up. 11.5%. Get up. Not at the moment, Tom. We're currently breaking down the percentage of Mead. But we will be discussing all things Leeds. I know we've probably got the clock watchers in already, but these lives are a much different ordeal, as we all know, aren't we, by now? We should know. If you don't know me by now. Link says I've tried it, mate. It's gash. So, let me pull up. Step back. Yeah, you know, you never know. We never know one like Jack. Because you know when I be flowing, I be rolling time back. This is icy cold as well. It's in a perfect position. I've only got 4 on the go, so I shouldn't be too tiddly. But I did have a pint earlier. To be fair, I've lost my notes. Right, topics we are going to discuss. I'm interested to know what people think. Oh, that's crisp. We have 2 strikers at the moment. This is going to certainly be a topic. So we are going to discuss who do we bring in? Who would you take currently? So really this is just out of Rothwell and Solomon into the next season. We're going to discuss that. We're going to discuss Geldart because he's gone out on loan to Hull. We're going to discuss whether Nonto is valuable enough to keep or not. Valuable question mark. Better add that to it before the drink hits. Valuable question mark. Nonto to Saudi. There's been some talk. Latty Lath, my guy that had been up for signing from Middlesbrough, he is now looking like he's off to Atlanta United, which I actually said in a video previous that Atlanta were on about coming in for 20 million. That's going to be their most expensive signing in history, which is a bit mental, isn't it? Lol. We're going to discuss the fact that there's no move-on clause for Gray and whether you think that's poor business on behalf of the 49ers or whether you think, well, we'll discuss what you think. Gilavogi might be moving already. Do we need Gilavogi now that Gruev and Ampadu are back? Was it just a means to an end, you know, or is it a means to an end? And then there's been a lot of talk about this Louis Barry character, which we are going to discuss once all the Mead conversation's done. Bamford injured. Yeah. What everybody else is up to. Sheffield United, Burnley, all the rest of that jazz. We obviously got a game on Sunday against Sheff Wednesday, which is on ITV, which is a bit weird, isn't it? It's a bit mental because obviously if you pay for Sky Sports and stuff, I don't really know how it's worked out in general, but if you're paying for Sky Sports and then the game's on ITV, I know that's good for the random punter, but you know, I don't really get how Sky Sports and ITV can have it, so it seems a bit whack. Byram, Isaac Schmid has earned his place. Well, I'll put that in as a, because we all love talking about how mint Schmid is, so that can go down. We'll discuss Schmid. I'm not too sure about Byram on the basis. I think Andy's trying to wind me up as he often does. So we don't have to bin Byram in the. He doesn't have to go by the wayside, does he? Sorry, Badger. He doesn't have to go by the wayside just on the basis that Schmid looked decent against Harrogate. I think it's quite good to have both available, but you know, some don't. Some think got to get rid of Byram now because Schmid looked decent against Harrogate Town, but it's just what it is. paying to watch football on TV. We don't do that these days. No, nobody does. And rightly so, it's a rip-off. I weren't impressed by Schmid, and I'm definitely in the minority. We'll start on Schmid if you want. Yeah, I know, Mingy. I know. It's not much happening. 79 RPM save. He says, love Byram, best signing since Farker came here. Get the old dodgy fire stick out, Tommy boy. Good lad. Yeah, Byram's been mint. I don't know why, as I said in a video the other day, I don't know why he has to take the brunt of it. Like he gets the shit stick now, doesn't he? That's what I'm saying, Vega. Do you know what I mean? He doesn't have to go, does he? We don't have to bomb him. We'd have to be disrespectful to him, rude to him. It's like, you know, he's been excellent, and he's super duper reliable. Also, the idea that he's super injury prone, I think he gets tarnished with a fair bit. Now, he does have his injury worries, and I do believe he can break down at any minute. But in fairness to him, he's played a hell of a lot of games. He's played more than Ampadu, Gruev. You know, I know they've had big injuries, but if Byram's not getting big injuries, then, you know, why is he still tarnished with the, you know, injury? And I know, obviously, once you get a name for yourself in terms of getting injured and stuff, it's not good going forward, is it? Granted, but you know, I think it's a bit harsh that he's tarnished with this. I know he's relatively injury prone, but he's not had a big injury since he got here. Really, he's had a few games out and he's picked up little niggles and stuff, but he's always been available. And what I would say, well, not always been available, but what I would say about Byram is, whenever he comes back into the side, it's as though he hasn't been. If he goes on, like if he has 2 weeks out, he comes back in and he's like bang at it, innit? It's never like, oh, well, he's coming back from injury, looks a bit shit. Even that game because he'd not played for months for us, because obviously Firpo were playing, Bogle were playing a lot. He'd not played, and then he came back into the side, and he did waver towards the end of the game. He looked a bit tired, but it was excellent again. He's a proper. I actually think Byram, to be fair, and I'm going to contradict myself slightly on the injury basis, if he was less injury prone or hadn't had so many injuries as his career progressed, it'd have been interesting to see how far he could have gone, really. Because I think Byram's well above the level, really. I actually do. I think he's mint. I think he'd have been like, you know, sort of where he were destined, you know, like a Burnley type player, or I know Burnley are in Championship now, but you know what I mean, like playing for like a Sean Dyche side or something and just doing like a proper good job. Yeah. I think we pick our starting 11 and take the rest behind the shed and give them the all yellow treatment. Tom says Byram's quality always gives 100% and honest as fuck. I agree. I think we'll replace the two that have left, even loans coming in. What, the Geldart? You mean coming in here? Leeds says, I was gutted when we first lost Byram, but he's come home and proper making up for it. He's like Milner 2.0. I would agree, Leeds, yes. I think he's been mint. I would honestly grant him with the year, another year next year. I just saw his interview and like, I know it's not about, and I don't want to. He's fucking sentimental. I see over here again. He's fucking all he gives a shit about is just people getting paid wages. Like I'm on fucking. Like I'm an agent or I'm on wage packet for him or something, like, you know, like I have any influence over it. It's not that at all. I just think, you know, some players, like, you know, I'm not of the opinion that we just have to bomb everybody all the time. I think obviously Byram's not the future. We need to move on pretty quickly. But in terms of, like, you know, squad depth, I've said it 5 times now. I'm going to say it 6 times, not in this video, but just generally over the past few weeks. It can't be on a great deal of wages. He'll be buzzing to be here, be happy to sit on bench. At some point, you do need players like that. He's 31, is he, Byram? I think he'll be 31. He'd do a job for you every 3 weeks. Yeah, he's 31. He'd do a job for you every 3 weeks. He'd do 20 minutes coming on when we're against some shits or something. Or I say shits. There's not many shits in Premier League, but or we're just hanging on. Or he's just not going to come on and like do a horrendous. He's not going to do all. Does he ever make a mistake, Sam Byram? Do you know what I mean? And he's not going to make mistakes in Premier League either. He'd love to be here. he seems like he's all for it. It's in his interview, he was like, I'd love to be here for another year. You know, he's just playing it out. He's just seeing where his career ends up. He's played 21 games this season. You know, it's pretty good going, is that? For an injury prone player. Now, I know some of them will be, you know, off at bench. He's been a hell of a player, really. I think he's unlucky with it. He played 34 games for his last season. It's like... And then obviously 2015, 2016, 22 games, 39 games. So he's played loads for us. Pretty mint, really. Oh, shout out to Ming, handed them... It's still Christmas over in Ming's house, handing them memberships out like it's Christmas. Thank you very much, dude. Leeds says he's proper mint, Byram. Yes, 78 RPM saviour. God fixed him to return home and help Leeds promote. Get up! Let's have it. Love that chat. The 49ers have been smart with transfers. For a team like us to show interest, bigger clubs will swoop in to snatch those signings. So it's best to keep quiet until signings are done. 100%, and that is what we do. I said do. We do need to make some moves, evidently, but I do think they will. I just, you know... Up until now, you can't really argue with the players that they've brought in. They've been excellent, really, every single signing. It's very rare that, granted, when we go to the Premier League, it's a different kettle of fish, and we was shit in the Premier League in that second season. But, you know, you got to think the players that we brought in, none of them worked, did they? I can't think of one of them that worked. You could argue that Tyler Adams was decent, but unbelievably injury prone. Like, you know, he was out for majority of the season, but he looked all right. Now, I know I'm probably going to get pelters for saying that. Not Tyler. Yeah, I get them both mixed up. Tyler Adams. Yeah, Tyler Adams. I always want to call him Tyler Roberts. Yeah, Tyler Adams, you know, you could argue was decent. And I know, as I say, nobody's going to like me saying that, but he was. He was like, everybody liked him initially, and then obviously it all turned to shit. But yeah, like, I don't even think 1% of the signings worked. Obviously, Raphinha worked. That was the year before, I believe. Well, it was, wasn't it? Yeah, it was. Rodrigo, you know, some people absolutely love that signing. Some people don't. But, like, in terms of this season, you know, signing... And they've dealt with the shit as well. Dealt with people going out. We've dealt with it all pretty well. Bogle's been a good signing. Ramazani's been a good signing. Solomon, I know, is on loan, but that's been a good signing. Aronson even coming back and just getting him back into the side and stuff, that's worked out. So, you know, Tanaka's been a revelation. Rothwell's been brilliant. Ampadu they signed last year. You know, Rodon coming in. You know, they've been good. So I do think they deserve a little bit of time. Also, I don't want to keep reiterating, we're all banging on about everybody else making big moves and, like, you know, coming in and taking the league by storm in January, but nobody's really signing anybody at the moment. So Tom says, what are chances the Darlow starts on Sunday, do you think? Little to none. I've changed my mind on this massively. So I thought, I was absolutely adamant that there'd be no way that Farker would start Meslier, Silent S, but I'm not sure now. I don't know. I talked to somebody quite well connected within the club I don't want to sound like a dick slap saying that, but I do. And he's convinced that it'll be Meslier, Silent S. He just thinks it will. I think he can end the season as our number one, and I still think we'll go up. I know everybody's in on him at the moment, but I still think he'll go up with Mez or not, or Darlow. I don't think it really matters at the moment. But what I would say is, I'm thinking he's pulling out of firing line because I actually think he's low on confidence, and I don't think we're doing him any good by keeping him in. So I would be, you know, wary of that, to say the least. Never has a team on 53 points ever failed to get promotion into the Premier League. Joe Depp says, we've done it then. Ming says, please no Andy. How much is he on, Joe Depp? I don't know, but I'll be able to get a rough... You never know on these things because it's all absolute woof, innit? But he's on... I mean, it ain't going to be a lot. He will have wanted to come back. He's been a brilliant signing. His highest ever market value, it says on here, is 4.5 million. I think that's well harsh. But, well, no, I suppose it's not, in fairness. He's not that good. I'm over-egging the pudding slightly there, but I don't know what he'll be on. Fuck knows. Don't know. I said I'd be able to find out, but it's not worth me troping through the internet trying to find it when people are on here. Nick G, Jack, your tunes are absolutely quality. Really good listening in the gym. Cheers, pal. No, thank you, Nick G. That is music to my ears, truly, in every which way. I proper appreciate you checking them out. From the bottom of my heart, I really appreciate it. It means a lot to me. So thank you, Nick G. Keep smashing them out. I appreciate it. And pass it on. Spread it like the plague, brother. Philip Anderson, hi mate, just join and smash the like for you. And I think we really need to get a bigger squad for the Prem. We do need to make some moves in the Prem. It'll be tomorrow, Andy, I would imagine, on the basis that it's a Sunday game, innit? I think Joe maybe got, just with it being a Thursday. It's normally Saturday, Thursday, innit? But on that, Philip, we need a bigger squad. We need a... I'm going to say Sean Longstaff again, but I now don't think we need centre midfielders, but I think we need players of the ilk of just top, not top quality, because obviously proper, solid Premier League footballers. You know, everybody's on about what Notts Forest have done, and I don't want to go that crazy getting 155 players, but what they have done is got a load of like rejects, haven't they, from, decent teams. I don't want to say Man U are a decent team, but they got that Alanga and stuff, didn't they? And Gibbs White or whatever he's called. They got all players like that. Obviously Chris Wood, who you take back in an heartbeat now, wouldn't you? But you got all players like that are sort of rejects from their bigger club. Like Chris Wood were at Newcastle, they just used him to sort of stay up, and then they knew that he'd do the business. So, and now granted, Chris Wood's just in form of his life, innit? But nobody down round here, Ming. We need to sign Michael Tong for Sunday's game. Yes, Jamie Tobin, handing out the memberships like it's Christmas. I appreciate you, brother. Much appreciated. No sell-on clause for Archie Gray, Andy. We're going to discuss that. Do not worry about that. We mainly seem to sign the wrong demographic of players. No Granite Jaw, tough guys. I don't know, to be fair. That's what I'm saying. I think we've signed some absolute mint players. Tanaka's been absolutely brilliant. Bogle's been really good. Actually, I had my reservations about Bogle at the start of the season. I think he was just slightly off at pace. I'm really reluctant to say he didn't understand the standard of football, because I think that's, not the standard. I'm talking shit now. Just sometimes I read a comment and it throws me off. But yeah, it just didn't seem up to pace with it. I don't know whether he had like a bit of an heavy summer, or he's got a major gambling problem or something. But Leeds says a perfect January would be a keeper and a striker. We can fix the rest in summer. In it, Jack Bro. Yes, Leeds. So perfect January. Keeper, striker, 10. I'm not bothered about the keeper in this window. I am bothered about the striker in this window because Bamford can't get fit. Geldart's just gone out on loan to Hull. I know we're not using Geldart, but just then it becomes even thinner. Can't be certain that we can rely on Joseph and Peru if he gets injured. Peru will get us plenty of goals, but if he gets injured, we're done. So I think we could have done with a number 9. A number 10, I think, is the main position. If we got a number 10 in this window, to be honest, I'd be quite happy with that. I think we can get away with the rest of it. Which I know my man Just Joe always goes ballistic when I say we can get away with it. Like, we shouldn't have to be getting away with it, and I understand that train of thought. Like, just go out and get some players, but if they're not there, I do think the 49ers are looking slightly more further in front, and I know people don't like that being said either, but I don't just think they're just going to buy players. We have a problem with the depth of squad when we've got 4 centre midfielders that can get into any club in this league. They'll get in any team in this league. Rothwell gets in, Tanaka gets in, Gruev gets in, and Ampadu gets in. Now, that's amazing, but that means if, say, Rodon or Struijk gets injured, or Rondon as he's been called this year, not by me, by another commentator, that means Ampadu goes into centre-back. Now, I'd want Ampadu by any means necessary to play centre-mid for us. However, if he doesn't, we are stronger with Ampadu as centre-back. We are not going to sign a better centre-back. For instance, we've got Wibbling Wobber, haven't we now? I don't know how good Wobber is, but he's definitely good enough for this level, isn't he? So, centre-back pairing, him and Struijk or him and Rodon. I know everybody bangs on about the fact that they're both left-footed if he plays with Struijk, Strijk, whatever. Wobber, Wibbling Wobber and Struijk, Strike. There was a day and an age when could be 2 right-footed centre-backs. This right centre-back, left centre-back, I know it makes a slight difference, but for some reason everybody's yanging on about the fact that you need a left-footed centre-back and a right-footed centre-back. Everybody's banging on about that. But Byram can play left-back, who is blatantly right-footed, and then every time he cuts it back, it's like, well, I know he gets shit for that, but in the same respect, it's not like nobody's targeting that, and for some reason we're talking as though like Ampadu can't play right centre back and he can only cover for Strike. It's a load of shit to me, that. Granted, over in long term, it's not what you want. Ideally, you'd have a right-footed right centre back and a left-footed left centre back. But Vidic, I'm pretty sure were right-footed, and I don't like Man U, but Vidic were right-footed, and I'm definitely certain that Rio Ferdinand were right-footed, and they seem to get on all right. I seem to remember Jaap Stam being right-footed. I don't know where this has come from, that it's essential. So would you rather have a left-footed centre-back who isn't as good just because you've got 2 right-footed centre-backs? Gary Cahill were right-footed as far as I'm aware. John Terry was right-footed as far as I'm aware. Carvalho were right-footed. John Terry were right-footed. I don't know where this has come from. It's this, and I don't want to be a dinosaur and that guy that says stuff where they're like, it's like, the double pivot is just too old in midfielders, which, yes, it is. So, I don't know. I don't want to be just seen to be dragging stuff back. I think it's more beneficial if your left centre-back has got a left foot. But I think really, truth be told, if you can't make a 5-yard pass, we're not asking Struijk to play a 30-yard ball with his right foot, are we? We're asking him to play a 5-yard ball with his right foot. Now, I don't care if his main foot's his willy. He should be able to play a 5-yard pass with his feet, or his dong, for that matter. He should be able to play a 5-yard pass with his dong, never mind his right foot. Everybody's on about his distribution all the time anyway, so, let him on it. Statsman on Square Ball today had some compelling stats on Meslier, Silent S. Well, I presume they were absolutely horrendous stats, because I feel for Mez Silent S in that sense, because it's one chance, one goal, which is his fault. It's a totally different type of goalkeeper to actually be able to just produce one save per game and be like alert for 90 minutes. I know he's a bit flappy from corners, but Darlow looked a bit flappy to me from corners against Harrogate. Darlow looked like his distribution were poor against Harrogate, so we're going to discuss that, Andy, as I say. Mez needs to be dropped. He needed dropping after Sunderland. I'd be inclined to agree with you there, but I would say that I'd give him the benefit of the doubt with Sunderland. The problem is now the benefit of the doubt has gone against Facky fucker, hasn't it? So rather than him receiving the benefit of the doubt, now it's a bit like he got it wrong. So now, in hindsight, I agree with you, Lee, or Leeds, because it hasn't worked, has it? But if he'd have not put a foot wrong from that, you would have put it down to anomaly that it was, if that's the right word. I need to Google anomaly because I'm using it all the time at the moment on these videos and I'm not sure what it means. So I'm pretty sure I'm using it in the right sense, but I can't even spell it. So something that deviates from what is standard, normal or expected. Yeah, so I think that works in that sense. Ming, just to explain for him as well, I don't know how these memberships work either, but I appreciate everybody that hands them out and I appreciate everybody that takes them, but apparently you can't choose who the memberships are gifted to. You just gift them out somehow and then people just receive them. Joe Depp says you can make stats say anything, and that is 100% true. Hank Wayman on the thanks, I'm presuming that could be due to a gifted membership, which if it is, shout out once again to my man JB Tobin, who's handed 5 out. Santa Claus. We need lots of things, but we need to go up. Of that Ming, there is no doubt. Excellent rejects at that. Top-notch players. That's what I mean. But they do get like Emile Smith Rowe and stuff. Just popped in my head. I don't know whether Smith Rowe's actually gone to Notts Forest or where is it? Fulham? Is it Fulham? Yeah, he's at Fulham. I don't know how Fulham are getting on, to be fair. I think they've turned a bit shit recently, but I think they were all right at one point. But my point is, again, that's a decent signing, isn't it? I think sometimes we look a little bit too... and also, to be fair, boys and Bob, I'm only on about players that I sort of know. I'm not pretending to be like Lockie or whatever, where I know like world football and I can dig into Europe and find the Tanakas of the world. So I'm only looking at players that I just know, are decent. And have always sort of impressed me every time I've watched him, and he's always looked decent for Arsenal and just obviously couldn't break into Arsenal's squad, but that doesn't make you a bag of cack, does it? That just means you can't break into Arsenal's squad, or you might not be either 100% ready or not favoured, or Arteta's got somebody on bundles and bundles of money elsewhere, in the same position. So that a lot of things can go wrong for young kids. That is also why I would suggest that if they stay a little bit longer, that's why I'm not overly keen on just shipping people out on loan. Because I'll talk about Geldat very quickly. Do you seriously think a loan to Hull, and I mean this with the greatest respect ever to Hull, I don't know why I'm respecting Hull, I couldn't care less, to be fair, but the 22nd in the league, I know they pulled it round against us, granted, they have scored 25 goals in 26 games, so they're getting less than 1 goal a game, and they've conceded 36 goals. Now, do you think Geldat is going to excel in that side? Do you think that helps him at all? Because I don't think it does. And the only reason you send players out on loan, surely, is to either increase the value or have them come back in a position where they're actually going to be able to play for you. And to be honest, Geldat going to Hull does neither of them for me. So things are getting bad for Leeds content creators. They've been seen walking the streets recently. I'm not adverse to a bit of a. I'm not adverse to sitting in van, but I'm still not at the level. Just Joe's reached the ultimate heights to be able to walk down the road and do it. I'm not sure I can do that at the moment. But who knows? Who knows? To be fair, I think I've walked at shop before. But that was a very late night stream, and I think that was on my other page, my JackCity page. Mark Bradley says, should not need any signings now. If players, they should. Save Dosh for the Prem. My brother thinks exactly the same thing. I also think, unless you're getting sort of like a youngster from 20 to 23, 24 years old that is a bit of a risk or whatever, but you can sort of deliver the fact that we're going to go up into Prem and this might be your only opportunity to get into the Prem. You're not necessarily going to come straight into the side in Championship, but if you develop well, all this jargon, they will potentially come. Now, if we're pulling someone out of the Premier League to come and sit on the bench, or if we're pulling someone out of the Premier League if we buy someone out of the Premier League that's going to walk straight into the team, I guarantee that won't happen. like Solomon, for instance, is not going to sign for Leeds United on the basis that we're in the Championship. We've managed to loan him. He comes straight into the team. He's the main winger. I do believe that was the plan from the start for Solomon to get a lot of games. We signed Ramazani because his career had not particularly taken off, and that he's looking good for us, and so that works. But pulling someone down now in January when he'd be like, well, I'm currently second striker, say, at wherever the Jeffinelli is. He's at any club in the Premier League. It's like, well, I'm currently the second striker there. You're in a Championship. A lot of them are already proven in the Championship. So how are we going to pull them down to sit on our bench to then go up, but while they're on loan? It's like, well, I'm going to come down to the Championship, not play a minute, potentially play 2 or 3 games if I get an opportunity, or if somebody gets injured, I might play more. What's that doing for him? The player's going to look after himself in that sense. He's better off trying to play some Premier League football, isn't he? Even if he got the same amount of minutes for a Premier League team, he's in the shop window significantly better than if he comes down and plays 2 or 3 games for us, even if we go up, because we're not going to sign him. That Anthony last year, now, I'm not saying Anthony's at Premier League standard, because he's certainly not, but he played not a lot of minutes for us last year, and then there was some talk that we were going to try and loan him again, but he's just not going to do that, is he? He's going to move somewhere where he's going to get more minutes. Now, Anthony, I think, gets a bit of a bad rep in general off Leeds fans. Not off Leeds fans, because he doesn't get any stick, but it's been like the case where, we couldn't have him back type of thing. Like, well, we've done well with wingers, but, I mean, I did a video on Anthony, to be fair, last year, because he got his goals for, I can't remember who, were it Burnley or something, Jadon Anthony? He got a lot of goals, or not a lot of goals, but I think he got enough to warrant in Championship. He did well. Well, he got 8 goals, to be fair, so he didn't do that well. He got 8 goals in Championship, but that's still, how many's the rest of them on? My point is, I'm not an Anthony fan. But, I don't know what my point is now. Watch the Anthony video. It was a lot better than that. Fucking hell. But, yeah. Wood used to get some right stick, Mark Bradley. Yes, indeed, he did. Which is crazy now, innit? Now that he's absolutely ripping it up. Trey's in here. Trey Face Productions is in here. JackCity Music getting the well-deserved love from Nick G. Respect. Get 'em up, get 'em up. Yeah! Cheers, Trey Face. Nick G, the man can spit some beats. You want to get stuck into Trey, Nick G, if you like my stuff. Trey's a beast. He's a bad man. Vega says, I would like the same things I wanted in summer: a 10, a 9, and a goalkeeper. And Bamford gone. Nothing's changed. I was so on board with comment, dude. And then it's like the and Bamford gone is just like. Why Bamford got? I don't understand he has to go. He's got to go. Get him out the door. If he don't leave, then we're never going at like it matters. Like, just let him ride his contract out. We might get 20 minutes out of him. He might get a goal towards end of season. Who cares? I agree though. Need a 10. Need a 9. We just need some backup in 10. 9's going to be really tricky. I'd have taken that Lath. He'd have actually put some pressure on Peru as well, Perizli, and he's a bit of a different centre forward. So just doing a drive-by, says White Snakes. What's good, brother? You might have gone by now. I don't know where I'm at with comments. I don't know if I'm well off. Sorry, boys. I'm nattering too much. Jack, what does it need for you to come on board with giving Meslier silent S the elbow, hologram hands? Byram is right-footed, isn't he, Tom? I'm confused. Shane Byram wasn't right-footed. I'm confused by that. I need to address this extremely quickly because I do not know what you mean, Andy Rowe. I think Darlow should start the next few games. I've said I've said that since the whole game, since the shit show that occurred. I think Darlow should, and obviously this is the first game back properly where my man Faki has actually got a decision to make. I don't know whether, as I say, I'm hearing that he'll end up going with Meslier, silent S. And if that is the case, Farker will live and die by these. Now, this it's a huge decision. This, I think, I honestly also think it can be redeemed. I don't think it's. My crazy thing is with Meslier, silent S, right? If he had more to do in a game, I think it'd massively help him. But it's like he's getting in his own head. Nothing's really happening. Nothing's really asked of him. Then it's getting in his head, and then he's setting off, and then stopping, and then he's not making decisions, and then he's overthinking decisions. He needs pulling out at the side. He needs pulling out at the side. Just for a few weeks. He just needs everybody just to settle down and not worry about it, and then watch fucking Darlow make a mistake and think, oh, it's not just me. Ming59 says too many Scum references there, Jack, but agreed. I'm assuming that's on the centre backs. Is that how far back I am in the comments? Sorry, boys. The 49ers can't sign a load of players, as if we go up, we'll have to sell a lot of players in order to bring in new players for the Premiership. So 3 signings should get us to the end of the season. A number 10 would do us. I swear to God, it'll be enough. I'm going to try to get through these comments because I didn't realise how far behind I was, so apologies, boys. But a number 10 should be enough. I agree that we don't, and that's why Farker keeps saying that we don't want just a load of dross in the side. I know they're not his words, they are my words. He would not say dross. But he doesn't just want a big squad for the sake of it. We don't want this idea that depth is like everything. Depth is only, there's no point bringing any lads in that are not even as good as under 21s, is there? So Archie doing great, playing left side central defender. It's total bollocks. It is total bollocks, Joe. As I say, unless they're getting asked to switch the ball relentlessly, 50-yard passes on the alleged weaker foot. It's like, nonsense. Pascal Stoik. We need our next DNR, says AOXXAOXX, as his left foot was something special. It certainly was, but the man couldn't move, could he? Boy, could he get roasted down that right hand side when he were trying to defend. But yeah, in terms of free kicks and pens and stuff, I mean, maybe not pens. I seem to remember him missing. I don't want to mention Manu again, Ming, but I remember him missing one of them just before half time. I think it was Barthez in there, not the best one. Tom says the best left foot we've had since Harte is Raphinha. I don't think there's any doubt in that. I want to wrap a curveball in there as well, because I remember a deadly not a deadly left foot, but a sweet left foot. He didn't really do enough with it, but Stephen McPhail's left foot was tremendous. I remember Stephen McPhail coming through and being like, this boy is the next man, and then he got a couple of goals against Chelsea, similar to Joseph. Did he get 2 that day? I can't remember, but it's not important. I won't. Shall I Google that or not? No, I'll get on with comments. I'm pretty sure he got 2. I think he definitely got 1, because it was like edge up box job, and it were quite a cultured, like, just sort of placed it in, and then he did like a weird celebration rolling round. We won that game, I think. They were the days, weren't they? Got them next year though. Get up off to Chelsea away. Blah blah blah. Get in. 78. You've got me. You've got it, lad. Watched Sprake as a kid, and he was not half as scary as Mez. The anomaly tamer, yes, Ming. Given out at random, that is what I was backing you up, Ming. I'm catching up here. Sorry, boys. Scum are losing to Southampton. Now, this does need Googling. They are back. I'm watching Overlap. It's 1-1. That's how far behind I am, you bastard. Still a terrible result, that. Oh, they scored 5 minutes ago, so that's a pretty good indication of how far behind I am. Unless this... They scored in 43rd minute, so unless I'm 40 minutes behind, that can't be right. I reiterate, Jack, you know what an anomaly means. You're not as cumbersome as you say clumbersome. I don't know which one I say. I think I say clumbersome, but it could say cumbersome. And I don't know which one's right there. So you've diddled me. You've done me. Raphinha is a beast. Joe Depp. I would have taken McTominay. I used to slag McTominay off something rotten, like saying how pappy was, but I would have taken McTominay. I thought that was mint. I thought that. See, it's happening now, boys. We've got it. I will not be defeated. I'd have taken McTominay. I thought that'd have been a brilliant sign, and I got loads of pellets for that as well. But whether you like it or not, the bloke played for that club that we don't speak of, and did quite well there. And, you know, he's not the best centre midfielder in the world, but he's a Premier League footballer, isn't he? And nobody can argue that. I don't know what that's in reference to, Tom, so apologies, big lad. Nick G says, not many years ago, Brighton, Brentford, Forest, Bournemouth were all at our level. Gives me hope that if we get it right, we can go up and stay up. Mint, Nick G. Love it. So there's a lot of talk into, like, once we go up, we're going to get battered every week, which in the grand scheme of things, I think we are going to take some pastings, aren't we? But the first year for me is survival. And then you really can't, you know, the league, I mean, it's sorted itself out ever so slightly, to be fair, but it's upside down. So this idea that, you can't do it. In the top four, there's Notts Forest and Newcastle. Now, I'm aware that Newcastle have got a shit ton of money now. But they nearly went down with us, didn't they? So Newcastle and Notts Forest have done it. Notts Forest have really done it because they don't have an abundance of money. I'm not referencing Newcastle, but we allegedly have a load of money. So, you know, it's not like we're short of cash. Aston Villa are 7th. They nearly went down when we nearly went down. Bournemouth are 8th, Brighton are 9th, Fulham are 10th, Brentford are 11th, West Ham are 12th, so West Ham are established. I mean, I know, to be fair, Brentford and Brighton, even Bournemouth are sort of established, really. I mean, you could argue Fulham at, but that's what I'm saying, you know, we're now trying to make a case for these teams being established Premier League sides. They're not more established than West Ham and they're below them. They're not more established than Tottenham and they're below them. They're not more established than Man United and they're below them. They're not more established than Crystal Palace and they're below them. They're not more established than Everton and they're below them. Wolves are below them. You know, again, you'd probably put Wolves in with same Bournemouth, wouldn't you? Fulham, you'd put them in the same thing. Well, they're running away from them. And then obviously the problem is that this is where everybody strikes. The issue comes when it's Ipswich, Leicester and Southampton. That, you know, I know we all know this, but they're the 3 teams that came up last year. So, which is what is panicking people, but it's not. I mean, Leicester had some issues, didn't they? I know they've got away with any financial fair play and stuff, but you don't really know what the movements were like with that. They're still reliant on Vardy and that. You know, can you imagine Leeds fans still reliant on Vardy? I'm not comparing Vardy to Bamford, everybody. Everybody calm down. Vardy's done it at a much higher level for a lot longer. He's a lot more sustained. But, you know, are they ever going to move on? Who knows? Jamie Tobin rightfully getting his thank yous for handing them out like Christmas, like Santa Claus. Don't take the badger out with you. I won't dare take the badger out with me, Ming. I honestly won't. She never leaves this room. She's left the room. No, she's never left. She has left this room because I've been in different rooms. So I'm talking wet. But what I mean by that is she's never left. I'm talking crap. She's been outside because I recorded some tweeting birds once, guys, which sounds ridiculous, but it was for a track, and I still use, they're called My Bird, and I still use them as like an underlying, people put a vinyl crackle in and stuff, as Treyface will know, get a bit of vinyl noise in there, which I still do add, but I've got a nice ambience, birds like twittering, but not ludicrously, so it's not happy, it's just like, it's a bit of resonance. It adds a bit of depth to your mixes, boys. Oh, Tom, were you on about signing Raphinha? Because AO says, I don't know, Tom, re-signing Raphinha will cost us a fortune, and for that money we could buy 4 or 5 decent youth prospects. Just saying it. Not even 4 or 5 decent youth prospects. We'd get 4 or 5 decent players, wouldn't we, at that point? Raphinha, as mint as that'd be, you know, to come back, it'd be mind blowing. I mean, it's not going to happen, is it? But you'd take it in a heartbeat. I'm sure XX would take it as well, just purely on the basis of being like the happiest man alive when if he was to re-sign. Can you imagine the fury it'd present? But you'd get four. I mean, you're talking 100 million, aren't you? Now, four proper Premier League players you'd get, and I mean, it depends really. Actually, to be fair, how much you sort of put down to one player being so substantially better than, you know, others. He was so much better than so many. It was just so much better, wasn't he? He was the type of person that could pull us out of shit a lot. But I personally would rather have four proper decent. I don't want to play boring footballer out next year. Oh man, you have just gone 2-1 up. Unbelievable. 90th minute. Jesus. See, they've gone to 12th now, so all my jargon has gone to pot. 78 RPM. It doesn't even beg thinking about, brother. The nightmare scenarios with no signings is Aronson and Peru break. That could be fatal for promotion. Now, the reason why I'm going to go with this 78 RPM saviour is because I'm not of the train of thought where you go, well, what if such and such get injured, such and such get injured, such and such get injured, it's like, that's like, well, yeah, what if like 8 people... I won't make a ridiculous joke about... I won't make a ridiculous joke. I will prevent myself from doing that. But what if 8 people can no longer play ever again? I don't want to go down that line. However, Aronson and Peru breaking down is a legitimate fear. That's what I'm saying about the cover that we've got at centre-back. I don't want to say like, well, what if Wobber gets injured? What if Struett gets injured? And what if Rodon... Well, what if that happens to anyone? You know, what if we sign 3 more centre-backs and 6 of them get injured? Do you know what I mean? Then we still haven't got a centre-back, have we? So it never stops that. However, we are weak without Aronson and Perisley. And as much as everybody thinks we need to move on from Aronson long term, which I believe we do, I don't think he's the best number 10 that we'll ever have. He's been excellent for us. And I believe he's going to do the job for us to the end of the season. So he's come back for free, loves the club. Never say never, lad. If he came back for free, Tom, we'd be like, can you imagine? Can you imagine? No one Rilla, Stone Cold Killer. Anthony never got a crack, says Andy, and then Tom says Somerville ripped it up, that's why, which is 100% true. Trey Face has left the building, I think, says it them likes people. I'd appreciate it if we like it. We've got 46 people in the room, and we've got 49 likes, which is unusual that I've got more likes than people in the room, so I appreciate you. These live streams are going better than they once did, boys, so I do appreciate it. I cannot believe you guys tune in. So I do appreciate it. I hope it's of some worth and value, because I really do appreciate each and every which one of you. Andy Rose says Schmeichel got some shit in goal. Schmeichel deserved his shit in goal, Andy. We made a joke, didn't we, about, you know, that his dad being a knobhead or whatever the chant was about, you know, your dad's a knob, but, you know, you're at the club type of thing. And then he went on that BBC thing, didn't he? Went on that BBC interview or whatever, and he was like super offended about what the fans had said about his dad. It's like, oh, I thought he walks about like this big man, doesn't he? Big I am, doesn't he, Schmeichel? I mean, I think he's an excellent keeper in all truth. I mean, he's probably done now, to be fair. He's probably toast now, but at the time, you know, well, for the past, when he were at Leicester, he was excellent. I mean, he won Premier League with them, didn't he? But and he always seems to make big saves. He's a good keeper. End of story. But to not understand, like, a bit of a... Do you think anybody was actually having a go at you, Casper? Or your dad? Your knobhead dad? You just make yourself look a knobhead when you don't have... You take yourself so serious that you just don't have a sense of humour at all. Where you can't just go, oh, Dad, do you reckon that was quite funny? Because I think with my family members, I'd be able to say, yeah, Did you hear that? You know, and then, you know, I think we'd all laugh about it over Sunday dinner going, have you heard Leeds fans? They're singing about you because you used to play for Man U. And, you know, I think, but horses for courses. Leeds says, I know Bamford will wait out his contract, then retire, lol, marching on together. I actually, to be honest, he's going to wait out his career and then he's going to wait out his contract, then he's going to see what occurs, isn't he? Because I'm not certain anybody actually even comes in for him, really. He's so injury prone. I know he'd get a club on the basis that, you know, if he can get him fit in Championship or League One, he will get you plenty. Well, I think he'll get you plenty of goals. But 78 RPM save, he says, if Bamford was fit for the next 20 games, we'd not need a number 9. 100%. Mings had enough for the Mez and Bamford talk though, so apologies. Tim Flowers is late. That's a keeper we'd take, innit? Tim Flowers. Was Scott Carson goalkeeper ever on Leeds books? That's a bit of trivia, isn't it? It seems to. I know he's on that. He's loving it. He's loving life at Man City, isn't he? I don't know whether you've. I'm pretty sure he did. Yes, he was. Yes, that is mental. Yeah, it was, wasn't he? He started with us. Jesus, that was in 2003. So that'll have been. Was that when we were mint? He started with us. He came through. That's when we had like. That'll be Robinson, Martin era, won't it? What a career he's had. Liverpool. I mean, granted, then he's been a second goalkeeper pretty much everywhere he's been, but then just been at Man City. He's been at Man City since 2019. He got loaned from Derby in 2019. In 2019 to 2021, he got loaned from Derby to Man City, and he's still at Man City now, like their 5th goalkeeper or whatever. It's get that Mead down, you lad. Jack, do you want me to draw you a picture? Meslier adds to Leeds' failure. How many more mistakes do you want him to make? How many more do I want him to make? I don't want him to make any more, dude. I'd rather he didn't make any ever, but you know. Yes, Tim Flowers, you can't beat Chelsea away. I won't be off. I'm saying it as though I'll be going, and I won't be, but I'll be off to home game. That there's no doubt. Get up. Ming's trying to push me on for moving the chat forward. He says I'm well behind. I am behind, to be fair. Sorry, boys. I don't like skipping you though, boys, you see. Is everybody alright if I skip to the loo? Skip to my do. William Williams says Klopp must go. I don't know what that's in reference to, but I don't know whether that's because I'm behind or in front now or what. Rafa's contract runs out in can't be 2017. He'll be 30 years old. 2027, I presume you mean. I doubt it ran out at best nearly 10 years ago. I've been told to skip the chat, boys, so I'm going to skip the chat because I don't know how far behind I am. He's recorrected it with 2027. To be fair, he's a 30-year-old, but he'll get a big move, won't he? Yeah, I am behind. Right, I'm off right to the front. Joe Depp's kicked me in there, so yes, right, what is the actual talking points tonight? Agreed. Andy Rose says don't skip the chat. It's too late. I don't like skipping the chat. It does. I feel like I've let people down. But it's hard to keep up. Normally I'm like, I've got loads of time and I have to feather it all out. It's been skipped, Andy. I can't do what about it now. I'm on the skip. Skip Bayless. He's in a bit of bother, isn't he? Does anybody follow like American pundits and stuff? Skip Bayless, and he's in loads of bother with touching women and what have you, being inappropriate. Dirty dog. BMG, this is what worries me, you see. I could have got through them pretty quickly. I should have just... I think I'm on round here. Hang on. Change my mind on getting Ramsdale if we go up Scum 2-1 up now. I don't think I'll do... I'm going to breeze through these. I don't think we'll be able to get Ramsdale, but obviously you take that. The 49ers are worth approximately 6 billion, so yeah, we are financially secure as long as the 49ers keep rolling with us. The 49ers will stay with us. Angry Mad Gav, as I think he made a short appearance earlier. Jamie Tobin says, welcome lads. Ollie DYG says texture, and that was meaning the birds, so I am well behind. Because that is exactly what it is, Ollie. It's a bit of texture. Hi Jack, you'll see this in half an hour. If you could sign one player who we could really realistically get in January, who would it be? Fucking hell, I'm trying to get through these as quick as I can here. I'm going to struggle to answer that in 10 seconds. Just because I've not shut up about him. I'd have taken that laugh for 18 million. I think he'd have just provided a bit of something different to put a bit of pressure on Peru. We wouldn't have had to rely on Joseph. I think that would have been a nice touch. And I think he could have potentially done it in Premier League as well. With Joffrey gone and Bamford injured, we surely must get in a 9 or 10 or someone who can play some sort of forward. We need a 10. Peru can play in the 10, but then we're reliant on... I know nobody likes hearing that. Square round holes and square pegs or whatever phrases. The forfeit of the no sell-on clause on Gray was reduced amount on road on 10 million extra cash. I'm going to discuss. I want to talk about that, Andy. We had 52 in at one point. I can't see exactly how many's in. I get that. I think I'm behind in everything. Aronson is a good example of an okay player who fits our system. Peru is arguably as good or better as a player, but a worse fit to the system, as is Joffrey, actually. Aronson is a good example of an okay player who fits our system. Peru is arguably good or better as a player, but worse fit to the system. I agree with that. Definitely agree with that. Legendary MVG. A player having no sense of humour will not fly at Leeds. Definitely agree with that. Jack always rated him. We cut off our nose to spite our face. I don't know what that's about. Leeds go up, Farkas sacked Bamford into him. Right, I'm back. I'm here. BMG. Hank says, would it be a problem to play 4-3-3 with 3 of Gruev, Ampadu, Tanaka, Rothwell? Farkas not going to want to do that, is he? But you know, I think there's an argument to be said that we could probably get away with that. I'd want out of that. I'd want Ampadu, Tanaka, and Rothwell. I won't bother with Gruev because I think once you go Gruev, Ampadu, I think they're basically one of them's probably playing in the 10 anyway. If you went Gruev and Ampadu and say Tanaka or Rothwell, they're basically it's the same, innit? We're not playing 4-3-3 anymore. Tanaka or Rothwell will just go into that 10 role. Whereas if you play Ampadu, Tanaka and Rothwell, that's a little bit more like Ampadu holding on his own in a 3, like the half a diamond. As I say, whereas Gruev and Ampadu will just want to sit in. Rothwell and Tanaka would want to get forward, so you'd go Ampadu, Tanaka and Rothwell, and that'd actually be a 4-3-3 system. Interesting how very few of our young BMG has been dropping belters here, to be fair. Good lad. Interesting how very few of our young players have not kicked on. Drama, Helder, Greenwood, Bate, Cresswell, maybe Joffrey, maybe Giabi. There's probably others, definitely others. Again, it's not worth me trying to work it out while I'm trying to catch up on comments, but they perfectly put, sir. Maureen, what's good? I've not seen you for a while. Bamford has done very little for the past 2 years, so I think it's best he moves on. Sorry, Jack. He can move on. I'm happy with him moving on. But last year, he did provide for us. He did provide for us. See, I'm back now. Don't skip the chat. So we're in. Leeds still win the championship, Jamie Tobin. Love it, love it, love it large. I've left 32 comments. I've got cramp in my fingers and writer's block. You've never got writer's block, Andy. You've got far too much to say. Oh, Joe Depp straight away. You'll never get writer's block. Mead block, Andy. Yeah, let's get some Mead down, you lad. Bryn Jones, want to beat Millwall. Love knowing we were one of the balls in the bag. A bigger, more physical 10 as a contrast to Aronson would be ideal. I've said this before. I feel like I can talk now because I've caught up on the chat. Anybody that plays in the 10 will be different to Aronson. I do think he plays the role really uniquely. He's a unique type of player. I keep looking at the Scott Carson Wikipedia, and I don't know if anybody wants to go on his Wikipedia, but he does not look like a footballer in his Wikipedia profile picture. Normally they have him playing, don't they? That is weird, man. He looks like, I mean, I know that's probably just outside of one at club match. He's probably never been seen in the first team kit, has he? So he's probably just, that's probably just him rolling into training at Man City. He's 39 now and still living it large at Man City. Wild. Someone with more guile. Aronson is largely about work rate, really. I do think as well, though, he gets a little bit... I agree with that, BMG, but he gets a little bit of stick for just being a workhorse, as though it's not like, like he hasn't got anything else in tank. And he does. He set up plenty of goals this year. He's chipped in with a few goals also, so, Only young one that's kicked on is Byram. Ironically, he's ended up coming back. Andy Rowe, sounds like we've overloaded you, Farky style, with comments. Why don't you compromise? One old, one new comment to clear the backlog. I've done the backlog. I'm in now. I've caught up. I'm not no messing now. And keep the comments flying in. It's tremendous, tremendous stuff. Backlog, Mead. You need some Mead. Everybody needs a bit of Mead. What type of number 10 does Angry Mad Gav like? Ooh. Angry Mad Gav, right, likes a number 10 that you never think can play number 10. So, like when Yaya Toure signed for Man City and he's a centre-back, and then he gets moved into centre mid and he's sort of defensive midfield, and then he starts pushing a bit further forward, and then before you know it, he's playing like off the number 9 for Man City, and you think, has he just come here and like just gone into training and just been like, look, I'm the donkey's bollocks here. I'm the dog, not the donkey's bollocks, the dog's bollocks here. Nobody's messing around with me. Do you think I've come to play where you want me to play? No, I'm playing in the 10. And that's what Angry Mad Gav wants. He wants people that are taking nobody's business. It's like, no, what, you think I'm here to listen to you, boy? I'm in the number 10. That's who Angry Mad Gav likes. And then, ironically, ends up playing in the 10. And he's an absolute beast. Gilavogue is definitely a footballer. He was poor the other day, though. He did look a bit like a gangly goon, didn't he? He's apparently moving, He's apparently, I know that's probably hot on your toes now. You're probably well aware of that by 10 past 10 on Thursday night. But he's apparently going to move back to, there's a Red Bull, there's a new Red Bull club, and they're pushing for promotion called Paris FC. They're in second league of France, whether that's Liga or League, whatever. They're in the second division of France. So he might be off. And to be honest, you couldn't really blame that, could you? Because he's not needed, is he? Anymore, you wouldn't imagine. Don't rule it out, Mark. Do not rule it out. Aronson has improved with his lock-picking skills and also his shooting, to be fair, because he was quite poor at both. Yeah, he did look a bit snappy at times. Well, most of the time. Firpo playing in a 10. Yes, Hank. Apologies, Andy. I'm doing my best. The famous donkey's bollocks quote. Yes. Yes, donkey's bollocks. Let's have it. It's you, the donkey's bollocks, mate. Right, we're going to talk about a topic. I've got a topic here. So, this can all... Right, can I get a poll going or what? I can't. Can I be bothered with a poll? To be fair, do I want to do a poll? We'll do a poll. Should we do a poll, boys? Should we get interactive over on the poll? But then I might get behind on comments. But create a poll. Ask your question. Rothwell to sign next season. That's going to be a yes or no. And we're going to turn this round as quickly as possible, guys. So once we get to, we've got 46 in here. So once we get to 20 votes, the question I will add to the question, because I truly find this interesting. So Rothwell for me next season, I would sign on the basis that I think he's been brilliant and would be a brilliant squad player. Now, it depends who comes up in the market. I simply must add that. But 10 votes, we're on 50-50, yes and no's here. This is good. So I would, depending on, obviously, if somebody mint comes in, or if, you know, if we get to a point where it's like, oh, I'm sorry, Tom. I know everybody loves him, don't they? He's the man. We're on 16 votes, 4 more votes, but let's try and keep the yeses going, because then it adds into my next question. Obviously, if somebody, just ignore the fact that we might, if somebody better becomes available or whatever, but you don't know. It'd have to be a Premier League player. I just think as a squad player, it's probably, going forward, we're going to be Tanaka and Ampadu, aren't we, going forward? I can't imagine us not being the case. So in terms of centre mids, I don't think we're going to look to sort of strengthen too much. Now, my next question, so we're on 17 votes, and I'm happy to leave it at that, right? So 53% said yes. So on that note, start a poll. Does your answer change if he's 8 million? So we got round that by, we got a yes. So does your answer change if he's 8 million? So before you whack your answer in, obviously, you might have said yes to that, and then when you found out it was 8 million, you wouldn't change your mind because you'd think 8 million's about right. Or you go, hang on a minute, let me work this out. Or you go yes because you didn't think you think 8 million's quite reasonable. I think 8 million would be quite reasonable for him, if I'm brutally honest. Oh, sorry, BMG. I can't do him on demand. You know this by now, BMG. I thought you just wanted to get to know the man. Wanted to get to know the man behind the curtain, or whatever the saying is. I remember Gordon McQueen giving David Harvey a bunch of fives. A bunch of fives? What's a bunch of fives? Stood on a crate, get up. But that had been before seating, what? They never used to have seats in there, did they? This is interesting, Joe Depp. For your information, the Mead had the consistency of a whiskey and quite dry, as the yeast had eaten all the sugars. Joe's rating is 5 out of 10. Does that mean a fight giving fives? See how my palm gets on with this one. We're talking about the Paul Tamer, yes, Ming. Talking about Rothwell, but I think I've tripped myself up with this poll because I don't really know whether that's. I'm presuming no means if you said yes. I've not. We've not thought it through. It doesn't matter though, does it? It got the job done, didn't it? It was still enjoyable while it lasted. I would sign Rothwell. XXAO. In my opinion, if we get promoted, Rothwell will be a good substitute to have on the bench. Je ne sais quoi. I don't think really. Do you know what, Hank Wyman? And Ben Tillotson says 8 million is nothing in Prem money. Agreed. And it was a smack in the mouth. Right, understood. BMG says that players out there like Tanaka who are better and cheaper. I'm all in on Lockie. Lockie's excellent. I just worry. Now I don't worry about what Lockie says. I worry about because Lockie's mint. This is not related to Lockie, this comment. Tanaka has worked. I know exactly. I get a thing. To be honest, I think I go the other way. Again, this is not in any relation to Lockie. I want everybody to clear the mind of Lockie. I go away where like I watch all Leeds games start out. I never miss the Leeds games. So I watch a lot of Rothwell, and I can't help but be of the opinion that it's better the devil you know. So whenever somebody comes in, I'm always like, everybody's like waxing lyrical about these players or whatever. There may very well be players in League Two in Japan, or where I know Tanaka didn't come from there, but I'm just being a knob, like just in the middle of nowhere, playing in Mozambique, who statistically are brilliant. They look brilliant. All this stuff. Rothwell is really good. I know that. I can see that. So 8 million for a man like Rothwell to sit on your bench. I don't know if you're going to be able to get. I don't know if you're going to be able to get better than that. If you can, are they better than Tanaka or Ampadu? It's not going to be a position going forward. I mean, I don't know if we'll get rid of Gruev, to be fair, but it's not going to be a position going forward that we, in the Premier League, look to strengthening. If we signed Rothwell, I think that would be enough. I think we need more strength elsewhere than we do in centre mid. I think we're doing quite well there. Now then, Hank, I do want to talk about that, but I'm going to get behind on comments again. Would it be better than Forshaw was? Do you know, Forshaw's another one with injuries, man. I honestly think he was better in the Prem on the ball. I mean, I thought he was brilliant on the ball. I thought Forshaw was brilliant for us, just terribly injury prone. I thought he was so mint on the ball. I remember him losing the ball once against, I think it was against Arsenal, and they punished us or whatever, which is bound to happen. He lost ball in a really deep area, but Forshaw was excellent on the ball. Excellent. He had so much time on ball. He created all his own time. Brilliant player. Is Rothwell better than Forshaw? Well, he is now, because Forshaw's, gone and injured, hasn't he? And, yes, now. But, I mean, I was Rothwell, in fairness. Rothwell's 30, in fairness. I don't know about me. 8 million now for a 30-year-old, but again, you'd only want him for a year. 8 million. He's played 25 matches for us this year. Can you do Angry Mad Gav refusing to do Angry Mad Gav? I can't. It can't be done. Tom says 8 million all day long. Probably paid that in Bamford's wages over half a season. I'm so on board with the start of the. It's always ends in Bamford, doesn't it? I love it, to be fair. It's tremendous how it's just like oh. He puts forward play consistently. In reference to Rothwell, dude, yeah, he does. He's always looking. I've said this 1,000 times, but what happens is the rut happens when Ampadu and Gruev play together. They both look sideways, and then it becomes a little bit predictable. Now, there's nothing wrong with going sideways. Tanaka and Rothwell go sideways and backwards a lot, but they always look as though they're going to go forward. They always look as though there's a chance they might go forward. So if the player comes out of position, risks it, they know they can't risk it because they know there's a chat. They have to think all the time. Whereas with Ampadu and Gruev, I think the two players that are up against them just think they're going to go sideways. Do you know what I mean? And they never really switch it up. The next poll. Am I good at these polls? Oh, it's not even how you do it, is it? I have no idea. I don't know what I've done there. I've lost all the comments. end the Q&A. I don't know if people can answer in there or something, can they? I don't know what I've done, guys. I've tried to be clever and it's failed appallingly, abysmally. I've ended that. When will he learn? When will he learn? Rothwell is decent. I think he'll get dominated in Prem. I mean, he's not going to be as alive as he is in this league. Tom says Forshaw was shite. Rothwell way out of his league. I'm not having that. To be fair, I thought Rothwell did okay in his first season in the Prem. We just stayed up, especially considering his long injury prior. I think he's good. Ming says everyone is a gamble. Agreed. Most regulars become subs. And then we're getting some clarifications on the bunch of fives. He's referring to a good hiding, using his fist to punch. 5 represent 5 fingers. Knuckles sandwich. I've no doubt. I'm on board with anybody that Lockie finds. He does hella work trying to find players. He's a beast. My point still stands though, that you just cost of that, just because there's some gems about, don't mean we can ignore what Rothwell's done for us this year. And that's not sentimental FC, I'm just telling the truth. Agree, Jack, that Forshaw very, very good on the ball. He wasn't as sideways merchant, Andy. $8 million for Rothwell. Good business. Okay, he may struggle in the starting lineup in the Premier League, but as a backup player or substitute, Rothwell is a good plan B. It's a good signing that. If we move on and it's not Rothwell, you know, fine. Then, you know, we get someone else in, that's totally fine. 11th hour signings yet again, that's Leeds. And but BMG, no, that wasn't a poll. The poll's the next level. You'd think I'm doing it on purpose, but I'm really not. I'm a start a poll. It was a Q&A, wasn't it? I don't even know what that is. Are these polls worth it? Dig your teeth into them one, boys. Dig your teeth into that. BMG says yes. Andy, yes, Forshaw was sideways, but probably has to play that way. He did have a nice touch and create time for himself. It was excellent on ball. We need a poll about should we have polls. This channel's a joke, isn't it? It's honestly, because to be fair, the amount of time I actually put into it, you'd think I'd like sort stuff out a little bit more, because I have like great not ambitions for the channel, but I have great, like, you know, I think fondly of the poll, but I don't want it to lose its nonsense, to be fair. I don't want to put too much into it. It's crazy. I used to eat my dinner when first started these, and I did a few watch-alongs. Nobody really doing them as well at the time, but I just used to eat my like dinner. I'd finish work, and then just if it was 12 o'clock game, I was like, need to get some scran down. So I'd just have a burger and that, and there'd just be about 10 people in room, just not in the room. Well, there were a few of my mates. I'm talking shit. Anyway, move on. Vega says, I do hope our aim is higher than Rothwell. Now, that is not my point, Vega. I'm on board with that. I'm not saying, you know, that they are the best players in the world. My point is, we can't sign 11 players next year unless you do want to go down the Notts Forest line. My point is, right here, right now, for 8 million, a bit of stability in there, Rothwell would be a good shout. Oh, aye, not half, BMG, not half. We need Pauls within Pauls. We need a Graham Paul within Paul. Mike says, just tuned in, mate. Thoughts on Joseph? For me, just isn't ready, mate. Think we need a new 9. I love Peru, though. Should have given Geldat half a chance. I want to catch up on comments, Mike, but I wish Geldart had got a third, a quarter of the chance that Joseph has had. And that is not a diss to Joseph. I don't know why. I know they've had them all in training or whatever, and I don't want to be that guy that sees, but I feel like I've seen enough of Geldart in order to give him the equal amount of Joseph. This idea that Geldart got asked to do it in Prem for a start off, it's been a lot more difficult. He's never just been up top. We've never used him like that. And I know he's only little and that, but Joseph can't hold ball up, so I don't know why, can Geldart, I don't know, but anybody can do it as well as Joseph at minute in terms of holding ball up. It just bounces off of him. But Joseph's got a long... Well, I don't know about that either. I don't think he's got as much time as everybody makes out, so... Rich Sullivan says Forshaw was class before his injury layoff. He really was. I loved him. Rothwell is a loan player. Yes, indeed he is. But that doesn't mean we can't sign him. Thank you very much, Jamie. I appreciate you. Question and answers is question and answers numbnuts. I know that, but what's a question and answer on this thing? I don't know what that is. Because I did it and then I couldn't see anybody's comments. That's why I'm behind. If we need someone who can just make a pass with his dong, why don't we get Willie at centre-back? That is... I can't be this far behind, surely. I was on about the making a pass with a dong an hour ago, I think. Every Premier League team having a few stars. Well, the stars come out. Stars come out in your eyes, don't they? But depends, really. Anybody that's voted no on this, a poll's worth it. It's, really hurt my feelings. Never overthink things. Gung ho all the way, bro. Cheers, 18. I appreciate you. Is that true about Robert De Niro? That's insane here if that's true. Let's go. I'm on board with it. Cheers, Ben. To be fair, I will never think big with the channel. It'll always be just a little bit of fun for me. Unless, obviously, nobody tunes in. I'm not going to sit here and talk to myself. I do that often enough. I don't need to do it anymore. I can't, BMG. I cannot, and I will not. Vinnie Jones, you take a bit of Vinnie Jones now, wouldn't you? Not that he'd be able to stay in a game for more than 50 seconds in this era, but it'd be good just have that monster. The only other sort of dickhead guy that I can think of is, I forgot his name. Brown. At Celtic, he turned into a right knob, didn't he? Scott Brown, yeah. He was a right knob, wasn't he? In a mint way, that I don't mind a bit of a knobhead, mate. I think it's ace. Everybody having a go when I met him and he was a right knobhead. Like, yeah, get in. The right knobhead. I love a knobhead. 100% on Joffrey. He never really got a sniff after that Brentford game. We stayed up and he had one disallowed that day. He always had... Ben saying never proper got a go at it. Cheers, Mark. Appreciate you. Taxi for De Niro. Geldart never did get a proper go at it, though. And he always showed glimpses in... Well, not even glimpses. Well, yeah, glimpses. He always did. I've said this 1,000 times. I'm sorry for anybody that's been here for a year, but... He'd do things on the pitch that nobody else on the field is doing. Like, just moments where you just thought, that is actually like why you're a professional footballer. And there's very few players actually do that. We've spoken enough about Bamford, Joe. I got stick for it. Joseph Carter at barn door. Joffrey was class when he featured the last years. I hasn't got a chance to be on it. I don't know what it is, but they do see him every day in training, so I don't want to go in too much, but BMG says Robert De Niro's become a bit of a tonsil recently, so it wouldn't surprise me if he bought Southampton. Tonsil, I've never heard somebody described as a tonsil. I quite like that. Yes, Woken Giant. Go on, get up. Molinar, what a tune, what a tune. That's beer kicking in, isn't it? What a beast he was. I don't even really know what that means, Terriana, but I don't know if that's to me or, but I'll take it regardless. You've done my algorithm world good for a comment. Yeah, I think that's slightly different to Roberts though, man. I mean, Tyler Roberts gets so much stick, which I think is, you know, a bit uncalled for, to be honest, in the grand scheme of things, but I don't understand why. I think some fans, for some reason, I'm not on about you here, Matt, but some fans just seem to go in on players that, like, haven't really done all wrong. They just keep getting sort of selected inside. I don't really know what they're meant to do. You know, it's not Roberts' fault. It was actually all right with Roberts. It's just we were too reliant on him. Terry, I can't help but think, mate, if I'm boring you, you know, with the greatest respect, is there no other videos that you want to watch? Because if I'm boring you, for instance, I don't know if you know how it works, YouTube, but like when I get bored of a video, and say I'm online, I spend a lot of time on YouTube, and I get bored, do you know what I do? I stop watching the video normally. That's normally what I do. I know that's not for everybody, but so 75% said the polls are worth it, even though Terry Horner probably thinks the polls are boring. But oh, is that what it is? Is that where we're at? He certainly did. Certainly did. Andy says Terry go sit in the corner on the naughty step. Yes, Ben. Mike says you were spot on the other day about Joseph throwing his hands up about when James didn't pass it back. I think he needs to relax and be a bit more patient. A goal will come. We create enough chances. Yeah, that were ball baggery to me, Mike. It did my head in. It was also really poor pass on his behalf. The thing about throwing your arms up is it looks good when you're like 15 and you're playing with a lot of your mates, you know, 15-year-old kids, and you're the best player on the pitch, so you can just be a bit of a knobhead, and then everybody just sort of goes along with it. But when you're playing against players that are really in form, playing with players that are really in form, really delivering for the club, and then you're not, and then you're giving a really poor pass, which is a 5-6 yard pass that, you know, even the centre backs on the wrong side of a left, on the right centre back side when you're left footed, could have played with his dong, and it's, you know, it's a heavy touch, much like most things are with your dong. It's really then ridiculous. And the thing is, fans aren't fools, are they? So I know I have a laugh about fans and that, and I'm a fan and I'm a fool. We're all fools to some extent, but you can't fool it. Do you know what I mean? It's like, oh, what you launched your arms up for? I mean, the main one for me where I just thought, is this guy like potty? Is he off his head? I can't remember the game because there's too many games in this league and they all just mould into one. He fired the ball. He went through on goal. Really, it must have been a minute into the game. He fired the ball. I don't want to exaggerate, so I'm going to say 6 yards wide. It was so wide of the goal. Through on goal, that was his opportunity, and that's when he'd been having a run in the game. It was also before the game, before I tell the 8 yard thing. Stood in front of the goal, right? But they're all finished warming up and that. He stood in front of the goal, in front of the cop, like this, like visualising, like pretending that he's visualising the goal and the net, and like, I'm putting the ball in the net. It's like show pony shit. It's like, can you put your hand on your heart and say you was doing that as an under 15 or in under 21s for Leeds or in under 21s for Spain, or are you doing this for the cop to all see that you're like this crazed goal scorer, and then literally 2 minutes later runs through on goal and puts the ball 8 yards wide, and then goes up to the crowd and goes like, come on, get up, like we're really like, get the ball, you know, like that is a good start type of thing. Like, no, brother, that needed to go in, or at least just give it to the keeper, you know. Then we might have a Meslier silent S issue where, you know, where they've had a meltdown. But if you're putting it 5 yards wide, it's mad. Joseph looked really desperate against that. There were a bit of desperation to it, to be fair, but I don't think that's well, it is a bad thing because it didn't work out for him, but, you know, it's a bad look, says Hank. I agreed. Arse Ripper, there is something to be said about that. And it sounds ridiculous but that is one of the reasons why he did so well against Chelsea when we played him in the cup. Because they're not bothered about him. It's not like, you know, they're just trying to implement their game on it. They're not bothered about Joseph, are they? I mean, you know, whereas when you're playing against a big, massive dude at centre-back in Championship who just thinks all we have to do today is stop Leeds United, I'm just going to have a battle with Joseph. It's a totally different game. That being said, I do not want to be reliant on that. Mark Bradley says, is it the Burnley game? Burnley game sounds like, says Legendary MVG. Probably, I can't remember. I know we ended up, we lost that Burnley game, didn't we? So maybe why it resonates in my mind so much. Because that was the slip on it when Solomon slipped. Yeah, he snatched at that one, BMG, with left foot. Somebody said, I know I said this in a video of the week, but somebody said on Twitter, like, yeah, you're all going on about Joseph, but if that early chance on his left foot goes in, James cuts it back and he scores and he gets 2, he'd be banging on the door, on Farker's door next week, like, so what? So what if he shot from the halfway line, or what if he shot from the kickoff and it went in top bin? It's ridiculous, you know. What if he got struck? What if the ball got struck by lightning as he was putting it in and the ball popped? Would the rest still? It's like, what are you on about? I think Joseph's just desperate at the moment. He's more composure and confidence will come. Yes, JLUFC, what's good, brother? Evening chaps, just got in from a couple of games of snooks. What have I missed? Not a great deal, dude, but thank you for joining. How did you get on at snooker, boy? Is it your birthday, dude? Is it your birthday, Jay? The lad has skills, just needs to settle down. It'll come. He needs to get on with it, though. That's my only thing. I'm on board with that, Ben. But it's like, you can't, you know, this idea that he's just this young lad that will forever be like, the time will come. Like, the time is now. Like, genuinely. If we, Exo says, if we sell Joseph, we'll regret it. He's going to find his shooting feet and will be a goal-scoring machine with 20 goals a season. In my opinion, that is... I don't think we should sell him, but yeah, that's a ballsy call, brother. But I'm here for it. I'm all here for it. Mike says I get it might be easier in the Prem, less low blocks, but he can't finish at the moment. 2 up top will help him a lot, but I don't see Aronson being dropped, and he shouldn't be dropped either, in my opinion. I agree with that also. This is why it's everything's a double-edged sword. So, I was talking to my brother about this, funny enough. Like, if you can finish, if you're a finisher, if you're a number 9, if you're a goal scorer, you're a goal scorer, aren't you? With the greatest respect to Perau Parisley, I don't know what his conversion rate is, but say he gets, I mean, I don't think it'll be this high, but say he gets 20 chances, he scores 10 goals. And I don't want this to sound ridiculous, but I think if he gets 20 chances at any standard, I think he gets 10 goals. Now, the problem is, if you went to the Prem, you know, what do we decide? What do we define a chance as? Like, my point is, the goals Perau Parisley has scored in this league, if he had the exact carbon copy, which I know football doesn't work like that, but I'm just talking about if he was in the Prem and we'd played the same, you know what I'm saying? All them goals still go in. It's not a level thing, is it? If it is your happy birthday, Jay. If it's your birthday, Jay. Happy birthday, Jay. He looks slick in the under-21s. Of that, there's no doubt, Dr. Curious. But a lot of players do, and then they never come to nout. And I've actually seen his highlights at under-21s, and some at goals look a bit suspect to me. Look a bit like they just bounced in. Mark Bradley says Prem defenders will have Joseph in pocket. Yes, Stephen. Mr. Paul Bradley. You can never miss them Pauls, brother. Mike says, I agree. Peru is completely different level to Joseph. It shouldn't even be a conversation. If / when we go up, keep Peru, loan Joseph, buy a new 10. Buy a new 9. That is personally what I think we should do. And I know I said earlier about the pointless loans for players because I don't know if they work, but I'll probably keep them in squad. I don't know whether loans work. I know that everybody bangs on about Harry Kane, but other than Harry Kane, I can't think of many loans that have ever gone on and done something. I think selling the player works for the player. You know, like Kevin De Bruyne got sold on, Salah got sold on. I'm not saying Joseph's going to reach them levels because he's definitely not. Hank says, what makes Peru so good is shots on target, also some sniper shots, but mostly just on target. Exactly, brother. And I know that sounds mental, but that's what I'm saying about the 8 yards wide one. It has to hit the target. Even if it's a poor finish, you just go, well, it's a poor finish. But when it's 8 yards wide, it cannot be going in. And the next one can't go in. You get away with a few, don't you? There's a few that go through keeper's legs, or it's clipped his thigh, and it's, do you know what I mean? Clipped his hand and it goes into and it gets deflected, or it's a defender and it gets deflected and goes in. Like, if it's going 8 yards wide, it's probably not gonna go in, innit? Also, this was also a plan. So because we did the Rothwell one, is Solomon. Would you sign Solomon? Now then, I'll go yes or no for now, and then see how this goes. Because I do think money matters, but I don't really care about money with this. But Joseph shooting boots. If butts, pots and pans. If Bob's not your uncle, Sheila could be your aunt. The club nor the fans are at a point where development is a priority. The club nor the fans are at a point where development is a priority. That's why I thought we needed a third striker, not Bamford. JLUFC, we've still not found out if it's your birthday yet, dude. So from my view, Mr. Joseph comes on and maybe gets mentioned twice. He makes no impact for me. I agree. Ben says pressure's too much. We've needed a 9 for years, says Sripper. It's unbelievably hard to find one in it. They're not they're like gold dust. Like gold dust again coming through your speaker. He's going through the motions a young striker goes through. We don't have time for that. We need to go now. Conversion rate matters. I agree. I just don't agree whether it's something that everybody goes through. I just think I really think he needs to get on with it. Lone players getting game time, I'm all for. But if they go to a shit club, that's what I'm saying about Geldart. If he's going to Hull, do you honestly think he comes back? Better. I don't think he does. I don't think it helps him. So he could play every 90 minutes that Hull I can't even talk. He could play every 90 minutes that Hull have to offer for him. I don't know if he comes back a better player, or any more value, or any more confident. Is it any good for Geldart to go to Hull, get relegated with Hull, then come back and go, all right guys, I'm back? So how did that go? It's like, I got 1 assist in 20 games. Like, all right, how come you aren't banging goals in that? Well, because I got one chance in 20 games, and unfortunately, that was my assist because I passed it instead of shot. So, his Prem ready says Mike with Solomon. Injuries doesn't really matter. Injuries are a bit of an issue with him, to be fair, but Ben says yes, I'd sign him on the provision that he stays fit for the rest of the season. That's a good shout, because I do think his fitness is, as we all know, an issue. BMG, in most sports, there's only quite a small difference between a real top player and a run-of-the-mill player, and a lot of it is mental once you get to that level. Now, I agree there's only a small difference between a real top player and a run-of-the-mill player. And I agree that so much about sport is the mental side of things, but I don't know, man. In the Championship, Joseph, not even Joseph, just any of them, I don't know if it's a mental thing at this. I don't know. I'm not in on this pressure thing. If you can't take the pressure, I don't know. I don't get it, if I'm honest. I'd be so up for it, me. Honestly, it gives me an hard on thinking about it. I won't be. I won't. You'd feel the pressure now, like, you know, when he's 20 odd games without a goal or whatever ludicrous stat it is, but I've dragged my nuts, sat back and forth of a broken glass to sign Solomon. I think that pretty much. Does that mean you're in on that signing or not, 78? I can't tell. I think it means you'd be delighted for him to sign. But Mike, what's your thought on Meslier? I reckon keep Darlow in for Chef Wednesday, then make a decision. Just take Meslier out of the firing line for a bit. Yeah, man, I got told off for speaking about it for too long at the start of the stream. I'm proper on board with that. Just take him out. 3 or 4 games. Let everybody calm down about it. See how Darlow gets on. If Darlow's excellent, let's just go up. Do you know what I mean? If Darlow... I think Darlow's distribution and stuff will be cack. And I know people say Meslier silent S's is, but it isn't. So... Look at Chris Woods as up for Bamford's. Wigan White's loyal. Chris Wood is on fire, isn't he? BMG says that's extreme measures. Sometimes you've got to go to the extreme measures though, BMG. You know that. And 78 RPM knows how to get to them extreme measures. Of that, there's no doubt. I agree with that, Mark. I agree it's better than under 21s, but my point has been for a while with loans. I don't know if it's any better than playing... I don't know if it's any better than just being around the squad of mint players. I think playing games is better than... I think the under 21s is a giant load of crap. I honestly do. I don't think it does anybody any good. I think if you're 21 playing in the under 21s... I don't think you're going to have a career at the club you're currently at. I think you should move on. You should get to 19, 20 and think, I'm not getting anywhere near the first team. I need to go find some first team football. That's what I'm on about. Go build a career. The loan out for, you know, so he's off out in January and he's going to play for 3 or 4 months or whatever it is. I just don't think it's any good for him. I don't think it does anything. I don't think it works. If he goes and signs somewhere, he goes into first team training. I think the better off being around the first team. The under 21s, I agree. Pointless. Play games, but go sign for someone. Go do it somewhere else. Go, you know. For you, I don't mean that I'm not being blasé about that. For them, you know, go out and get some proper game time and to build into next season. See what next season brings you at that club. Be at that club. Because you can't tell me as well, there must be something in your head a little bit where you throw in towel in a little bit. And I don't mean literally, but you can't be. Your heart, if you're, the current team you're at is number 1 in the Championship. The team you're getting loaned out to are 22nd in the Championship. There's no way you want, as well as you want to do to get back into the team at the first in the Championship, you're like lost in between both. There's like a point where you need to accept You're not going to get in our side. I'm not on about I'm not having a go at him here. The club aren't wanting to sell him. They obviously still think there's something there. But it's just not going to do him any good. I just know it's not going to do him any good. Geldart done now. Big shame, but he'll be sold in summer, 90% sure. Well, that's kind of my point. I'd have just been like, I know it's not up to Geldart if he's getting loaned out, but they want rid of him. And he probably will get sold in summer, you know. But I'd be like, can I not go to Hull? Can I go somewhere, anywhere else? I'd rather go, for instance, I'd rather go into League One and play for whoever's top at league in League One. I know they're probably not going to need him at this point. But, you know, you could get in a competitive side. Birmingham are top, Wigan, Wrexham, Huddersfield, Barnsley. He'd get in, I don't know nothing about these teams, boys. I'm talking shit, but you'd get in Huddersfield and Barnsley, Reading, Stockport, Leyton Orient. They're all in top 8. You'd get in one of them sides, wouldn't you? And I know he's better than League One, but that's my point. Some of these teams, they're pushing for something. They're going somewhere. I don't know, going into Championship, playing for the 22nd in the league. Nah, it's not going to do him any good. Rangers with European football would have been much better for Joffy. Je ne sais quoi. He'd get in and around that squad, wouldn't he, for Rangers? Definitely. Oh my God, BMG. I swear on my life I've not just nicked that. I've only just seen that comment. That is, honestly, I'm so on board with that. That's what I'm saying. Go get yourself in a side that are like pushing for something, like looking like they're going somewhere. Solomon is what we want. Nonto to be at a different level. Nonto's still got something to go at though. Nonto's not in the same boat. Nonto's shown enough in general and still does enough even in these games. Even though he's not had his best season. 21 votes. 86% say yes on Solomon. I'm in on yes with Solomon. Calvin Phillips ain't coming back, dude. It's been a lively feed. I've been struggling to get my topics out. And also, beer's running through me and I'm busting for a slash. Get Darlow in for Meslier's sake. If that were me, I'd be saying take me back out for a... Just pass it out from the back if his distribution's crap. Distribution's a lot better. Mez's distribution's a lot better, no doubt about it. I need to catch up here again. I really need a piss, boys. Will you wait for me? I've got one more beer to have, so cheers, Mark. Cheers for tuning in, dude. I appreciate you. There's a few saying no here, so we'll see. We're gonna see how this poll goes. It won't take me that long to slash, to be fair, but it's I do need to go. I know what we'll do.
Yeah, allow me to fuck up all my exes. Nexus, I'm about to kick this motherfucking bitch quicker than my exes. I'm sexist. Best mixed Toyota with the Lexus. I'm restless. I need to kick this shit before it festers. My life's surrounded by 1,000 things just here to test us. Just just arrest us. My skin's thicker than a bulletproof vest is. I'm invested, the best I'm suggested, the rest can't contest it. Wish I could get up and kick it all the way down to Texas. I'm reckless, a mess in the mind, it's so congested. So pick your best bitch, I'm a wreck for the test it gives. I'm a chef when it comes to cooking messages. I'm the best shit straight from the chest. If it's a mess, then a test, I will rep record and put the shit to rest. Little lizards staying blessed, ragging into each and every single one. Another shit is so incest, I detest, I'm unimpressed. All I do is reinvest, all you do is back down and betch. I'm possessed, I could teach this bitch to fetch. I have never found myself not been correct. I'm a master of the game and shit is chess. Leave nothing for a guess, I confess. I'm a sucker for this motherfucking Smith and West. Career a jest, just one in the chamber, a willing Russian roulette. Only when it comes to culture I would never place a serious bet. I stop this bitch up just to visit the vet. I grab this lizard just to feel the effect. This shit is physics or mechanics are tech. I got a gallon of magnets and so these atoms are wreck. How do you flatten this set? Do you agree it's gotta be impossible to disrespect? On another level and nobody really wanna step. Yeah, I'm butter on a beat, a butterfly in effect. I'm only high in a sense, I'm never lying, I'm cleansed. I'm only rhyming for friends, I'm only piping a piper just to frighten and upset. Never biting Mike Tyson, never sitting on a fence. I've heightened the tense, I'm never shy on a fence. I'm only writing for rent, finish line in sight, but I don't know where this shit ends. I'm politely inviting you, take your rights and just blend. I own the right to offend, if I'm a kite then I'm high and tight, till the motherfucking end.
Hey, who are we waiting? Are we back in? I need to check here. Can you hear me again? 89% have said they'd waited. So, granted, we only got to 19 votes, but there still says 47 in and none and over here at the moment. I generally piss in a cupboard cup. A cupboard cup. A cardboard cup at 56 mile an hour on cruise in my truck. I don't stop for nothing. Yes, 78 RPMer. Appreciate you, brother. Is he rolling a fatty? A lot of plants in that vid. Yeah, no, I'm not, but no, I've never done it like that. I'm not even joking. Marijuana's not my thing. Just booze. I don't think Ruev gets back in. And I know I think he comes off at bench and appeases the fans and his minutes, but I think we just blame his injury and get him back to fitness for the rest of the season. I don't think he gets in over Ampadu, Tanaka or Rothwell, to be honest. A lot of people, Gareth, are in on this. A lot of people don't take it easy, Joe. Cheers for tuning in, dude. Thank you, man. I appreciate you. A lot of people are in with like Nonto moving on. I'm not so quick about the. I'm not so keen on just sort of bombing him out. I don't think it's. No, not for me. No, it's not improvised. Totally written. MVG. But unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, it's just the way of the world. The freestyle word has changed. The amount of freestyles I've watched that aren't freestyles. A freestyle now means it's not a track. It's just like a, it's a freestyle in a sense. But no, it's not improvised. Yes, Mike. Cheers for tuning in, dude. Yorkshire Harry Mack. I'm off to go see Harry Mack, dude, with Luke from Ought to Know Better. I forgot when. I think it's in March. I'm off to go meet him in Brixton. We'll have a right laugh. He's a bit mad, he's Luke. We'll have a right laugh that night. That's where I'm at, Ben. I won't be letting him go. I think he can do it. Well, he can do it in Prem. He's proven it, hasn't he? So I've never had space cake in Amsterdam or space cake anywhere, to be fair, Andy. No, I haven't. Ian, Andy, behave. He's not had the best season. We've also been asking a lot of him in the sense that because Somerville's gone, we thought he'd come in and like just chew the league up, didn't we? Like eat it up. But we've also got Solomon, who's been brilliant. We've also got James, who's been brilliant. Ramazani, who's been shown glimpses of being brilliant, was good when he came into the side. BMG says he'd sell him. I just don't know why. I don't know why we're looking to sell him, honestly, when we don't. We need to be careful. If we're off up to Prem, I think you're probably going to find we need him. Yes, BMG. Cheers for tuning in, man. I appreciate you, man. I might do the stream an hour earlier next week. Mind you, to be fair, I didn't expect to go for 2 hours, but I agree, Gareth. I honestly do. I don't think he's been. I was defending him at the start of the season. He had 5 or 6 assists or whatever he had, and I thought he was doing well. But you know, it has slowed. Used to watch Sway in the morning and interview all these rappers, and none of them wanted to touch the freestyles. I know, man. That's what I mean. It's a dead art. Sway in the morning's mint. 5 Fingers of Death. Don't get some fans that want Nonto out. He's a decent player, and it'll take something special to replace. That's what I mean. If he ends up, I said this on Just Joe's a few weeks ago, but if he ends up being our 4th best winger, is that really quite good? You don't have to get rid of these players. They just don't have to start every game. Just sit the bastard on the bench. It just don't matter. He's on bench. I mean, do you not think Nonto's good? Good enough to be coming off of our bench. If he's our 4th best winger, I'll take that. Sripper says, "Fuck, I don't get the best out of the players." I don't know about that, man. Top of the league. I didn't like Mark Rocker from the first friendly that I watched him in to the last game I saw him in. Gruev obviously been at a different level. We've played in Championship and he's looked good, did Gruev. Difficult to say whether Gruev's better than Rocker. To be honest, even though I'm not a Rocker fan, I think Rocker's probably better than Gruev. We'll have to wait and see. Connor's never right, mate. Won't take him, mate. Won't have him. Won't have him. 78 RPM says, "I like Nonto, just a bit underwhelmed. He has not grabbed the star spot as expected for 2 seasons. It's okay saying other players have, but at some stage he has to. James has outperformed him." Don't disagree with any of that, sir. But that I know you're not saying this. Don't make me want to get rid of him. That's all. But I don't disagree with a word of that. You know, he needs to do more, and it particularly like you gave a pass last year because some of them were so good, and we didn't really need anybody else inside. Never mind, you know, else. And we had Rutter and stuff who were like, you know, entertaining everybody enough. But this was his opportunity to become the Leeds winger, won it, of the season and sort of take us up, and he hasn't. So Vega says, Willie's 4 goals, 5 assists, goal involvement equates to half per 90 minutes. His non-penalty. That's percentages. It's moving him about. I backed his assist. You know, his goals and assists, like I say, it's not. He will contribute. He's not to go. He's not to go. Yes, Andy Rowe. When did I say that? Was that in a live? Or was that in a just in a? I can't remember when I said that. Nonto's probably the 4th best winger at the moment. He's definitely the 4th best winger at the moment. I just honestly don't want him sold. I don't think he's any good for us. I don't know if it matters, dude. And I don't know if Dan James is is Leeds through and through. I think that's just his personality. That's just how he is. I don't think anybody can level Nonto with saying that he's not putting 100% in. He's putting 100% in. He's called Will He Not Go? Nonto, keep him. I agree, dude. But let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater, as everybody keeps saying now that Simon Jordanson's got it going on. I'm there on Sunday, Andy, and I am not planning on meeting with my Scottish Latvian fellas. No, I am not, but they may very well be at the game on Sunday, so who knows. My only worry is with it being a 12 o'clock kickoff, because Peacock wasn't open last time at 12 o'clock kickoff. But we didn't try it White Hart because I bottled it because I thought, because Bird were dropping me off, me and my mate off, and I thought if we get off there and we can't get a beer, my mate will go bonkers. I'd have just dealt with it. I'd have been like, well, it doesn't matter, does it? But he'd be like, he'd gone absolutely bonkers for it. So we went to White Rose, took Wetherspoons and had a few in there first, and that sort of eased his nerves for getting a beer. So I'm hoping, I don't know if anybody knows, but because I've not been to that many 12 o'clock games like with my mate, but I will be on Sunday, so I need to know what's going on, because honestly, if you know, like, have you ever been on them nights out where you like with your mate and you think if something goes wrong, it's like it's all your fault at all moments. It was a post-match, same chat as the 5-yard Dubois. Joseph passed to James, selling down the river. Yeah, the legacy lives on. 78 RPM saviour. Gruever's a really good player. Just the competition is hot. I guess the same for Nonto. I'd not sell either, but if silly money is offered, you have to think, 100%, man. I think they're all up for sale. To be fair, if a silly offer comes in for any of them, you know, I mean, to be fair, and this sounds wild, but who do you think our best player is? I actually don't think that's the easiest of answers. I think like last year you'd have had to say either Somerville or Rutter, but I think most people would probably go with Somerville last year just based on his outrageous goal return from being a winger. But who do you think our actual best player is? Yes, JLUFC, keep them rolling up, brother. Drinkwater. The best image of him is when he's got that new water, whatever it is, Danny Drinkwater, and he's there supping it. It's ace. The Mead's getting better here. Tanaka says arse ripper. Cairns. Best player at club, right? I don't know how many options I can have on here. Tanaka. I'm going to put Ampadu in there. James. I don't think this is that easy. I can't put Peru in there. I don't want to be horrible, but I can't. He can't go in. Tanaka, Ampadu, James. I'm setting a poll up here, boys. What do we reckon? I'm gonna put one more in. I really don't think Struick is, but a lot of people love him, so I'm gonna go with Struick. There's 4 options in there. Who do you reckon's best player at club out of them 4? If I've not put your guy in, fair enough. I actually think I honestly think that's an harder. I think that's quite hard. Yeah, the best player on form, MVG. Who's been our best player this year? Well, I nearly... Do you know 78? That's what I'm saying. I nearly put him in the poll. And then, like, in my mind, I was like, if I put him in, I'm just going to get pelters. But in reality, like you're saying, you know, if he carries on his trajectory, I mean, who's highest goal scorer in Championship? I know it won't be him, but he'll be up there. Yeah, he's third. Granted, he's five goals off that Borja Sainz who plays for Norwich. There's only 2 goals off Madger at West Brom. Bear in mind who I've been on about, Latty Lath from Middlesbrough. He's joint third, so they're joint on that. And I was an advocate for signing him. He's got 5 assists. So in truth, Borja Sainz has got 15 goals, 3 assists, 15, 16, 17, 18. 1, 2, 3. He's only 3 behind in goals. They've all played the same amount of games. Although they haven't really. So they've played the same amount of games. They haven't played the same amount of minutes. So Peru has a better minute per goal. So Peru's minute per goal is 142. Sainz is 153. And Madger at West Brom is 173. Peru's also had fewer shots than the 2 above him. His goal conversion isn't as good as Madger's, but it's better than Sainz's. His goal per minute, his goal per 90 minutes is 0.63. Madger's is 0.52, and Sainz is 0.59. So in many of them, he's better in all the stats. He's the highest goals per 90 minutes. He's the highest in the top 11, highest in the top 10. Quite significantly as well. Yeah, interesting that. Are you out and about, Stephen? Yeah, Dan James has proved himself to be my favourite player, to be fair, but DVP, I don't know. We spoke about it earlier. I don't know, dude. I honestly don't know. I did, and then I've been talking to a few lads, and then talking to a guy that I know that's quite knows, and he's convinced that he'll be starting him Sunday. Viga, Peru, 0.95 goal per 90. It's not 0.95 goal per 90, to be fair. That'd be a goal nearly every 90 minutes. You making numbers up here. I'm still convinced Peru isn't being totally utilised, e.g. they aren't rushing to give him the ball. I just think we're chipping in quite well, really, with goals. The same, Jay, is that the same 11 from the whole game? I think Ants will be our best player, but the injury sustained is taking its toll, and I don't understand why he's rushed back into action. I think he's been decent since he came back. 17 votes. Tanaka's won that, 41%. But I'm going to take everything out of it. If Peru gets 20 goals, is he the player of the year? I think that's a yes, to be honest. That should do. If he gets 20 goals, I don't think it can be argued. I will see you out and about, Stephen. I'm hoping that my brothers can't go, so my mate's on about pulling through. So if he comes out for a few beers, it'll be on like Donkey Kong. I'll meet you for a beer without a shadow of a doubt. If you're in before, after game at Scarborough Arms, Scarborough Taps, I would go Darlow. I'm starting to think he'd go Meslier silent S. If he goes Meslier silent S, I think he'll be fine. Meslier going to be our downfall. I don't think it will be, dude. Honestly, I don't think it matters. Unless DJ gets 21. Yeah, I think I'm starting to think he will pick Mez. I just think the internet and the I'm worried about the ground. I'm worried about the if it's an away game, I think you get away with it a little bit, but I'm worried about the stadium. Yeah. I'm getting more on board with it. I just think just stick with him. Fuck him. I agree with that also. Big says numbers don't lie, Jack. It just depends where you're getting them numbers from, doesn't it? Hey, oh. Right, guys, we've been here for... I don't even know, a while. 2 hours, 20 minutes. So I'm going to do one because I don't want to bore everybody to tears, but I appreciate every which one here. It's been an absolute pleasure. We've got to close this poll, haven't we, first? 15 votes, 67% saying yes on Peru. Who's the special one? Mourinho. Thank you, everybody, guys. I'm going to do one. Proper appreciate every which one of you, as you all well know. It's been tremendous live feed. I will do the underlap yet again on a Thursday. I might try to do it an hour early. It has been forever, mate. There's some serious day dotters in here. Some serious people that have stuck with me. I've finished my beer with you, to be fair, boys. And Bob. Bob's not been in, though, has he? She. Yes, appreciate you 78 RPM. Much love, Jay. Yes, Gareth. Give you the wave. Ta-ra. Arse Ripper. Top lad. Top man, Ina. Take it easy. I will get the last train back to Wigan via Manchester. Let me know. I need to find this out. Yes, man. You too. Appreciate you. Thank you for staying with me for so long. Crazy to me. You're all legends. Right, I'm out. Take it easy, everybody. Much love. Much love. What am I saying much love for?